Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 15th of October and we are going to deal with three very important topics which are in news. The first topic for today is going to be a case on which the Supreme Court is divided on abortion. Abortion of a 26 weeks pregnancy of a lady who is married. Now last week on Monday, the Supreme Court allowed abortion for that lady, that is termination of pregnancy was allowed. But on Thursday, a two-judge bench gave a divided verdict. Now in this topic, we will see the law which is responsible for or law which takes care of abortion, which is called as medical termination of pregnancy. What is allowed, what is not allowed. 1971 this law was passed. There was an amendment in 2021 in this law. In what circumstances abortion is allowed in India? Who all fall under the purview of this act? That is important from exam point of view. And obviously we'll see why the Supreme Court is now divided on the medical termination of pregnancy of that 26 weeks old pregnancy of a married woman. Then next topic which we are going to see is Index of Industrial Production, IIP. Now the figures of IIP for August 2023 have been released, and good news is that industrial activity for the month of August 2023 has increased. It has increased by around 10%. You might be thinking data of August being released in October. Yes, it is, because there is a 6-week lag. And a few weeks ago we covered another index called as the Purchasing Managers Index. Purchasing Managers Index is released every month with no lag. That is why most of the, I would say, economic stalwarts, they rely on that data also, or that index also. But here today we'll see what IIP is, what are the components of IIP. And the third topic which is related to IIP only is Index of Core Industries. This was also released, and this also for the month of August 2023 expanded, or means grew, means economic activity in these core industries. There are 8 core industries in the country, and all of them were in expansion mode, means activity, means industrial output was increased in those all 8 sectors. There's an inherent connection between these two. What is the connection? We'll see. Stay tuned for when we reach this topic. The Supreme Court on abortion, actually on 9th of October, the Supreme Court allowed medical termination of pregnancy, that is abortion, of a 26 weeks old pregnancy of a married woman. Now why did Supreme Court allow? What was the situation? Actually there was no, I would say, abnormalities, but she was not wanting that pregnancy. She claimed that she has been suffering from mental illness. She's been battling depression. Her mental health is not fine to take care of the child. She already is mother to 2 children. And that is why she was, pleading before the courts that my pregnancy should be terminated. Doesn't she have the right to terminate her pregnancy? She has, but up to a certain limit, that is up to 24 weeks only. But since the 26th week was running, so she need the approval of a medical board, and medical board gives approval only in cases of substantial fetal abnormalities. But here in this case, there was no substantial fetal abnormalities. And that is why she had to approach the courts. The courts on 9th of October allowed pregnancy, but I would say on 12th of October, 3-4 days down the line, the decision was put on hold, because this case was again put for hearing and the Supreme Court bench gave a divided judgment. One judge was of this viewpoint that termination should be allowed, the other was not. So the termination has been put on hold as of now. Let's get into the details of this topic and we will also be looking into the law, that is the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. Now, India's Supreme Court on 9th of October gave the go ahead for AIIMS doctors to terminate a 26 weeks pregnancy. The key is 26 weeks pregnancy here, which you need to note down. But later a bench led by CJI D.Y. Chandrachud said it needs to balance the rights of a living and viable fetus. This fetus is a living fetus inside her, with its mother's right to autonomy. Now, there need to be a balance. Mother's right to autonomy means she is demanding abortion, plus the life which is there in her womb. We have to uphold the rights of that life also. That is what, the CJI is saying. And we have to strike a balance between the two. So, that is why, there needs to be more, I would say, clarity on it. There needs to be more debate on it. There needs to be more investigation on the issue. And that is why, the abortion has been put on hold as of now. I'm pretty sure that this case is not going to linger on for so much long, because the clock is ticking and it is already 26 weeks into pregnancy. An abortion case has left India's Supreme Court divided on these lines. On 12th of October, ordered the doctors at AIIMS to put the abortion of 26 weeks pregnancy on hold. So, from go ahead to on hold. Why? Because the CJI said that there needs to be a balance between the rights of a living and viable fetus, which is inside her stomach, inside her womb, with its mother's right to autonomy, who is wanting this termination due to her mental health. Now, let's go back to last year, 2022. It is September 2022 and 28th September is actually celebrated as the International Safe Abortion Day. Coincidentally, on that particular day only, the Supreme Court gave a landmark judgment last year. It granted unmarried and single women with pregnancies ranging from 20 to 24 weeks access to safe and legal abortion on par with married women. Now, you'll not be able to understand this over here, but yes, as we proceed, I'll connect it with this. As of now, just you need to understand that abortion for unmarried and single mothers or single women were also allowed if their pregnancy was ranging between 20 to 24 weeks. Earlier it was not allowed, it was allowed only for married women in this range. Unmarried, single women, they were not allowed. Okay, as per the law. But according to this judgment, now unmarried and single women whose pregnancies are ranging from 20 to 24 weeks, their termination was also allowed by the Supreme Court. Now, is there a law in place for medical termination of pregnancy? Yes, the law is named as Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, amended in 2021. Now what we'll do, we'll see the comparison between 1971 provisions and 2021 provisions. That will give you more clarity and that will make you connect here as well. Now, all this is written, but yes, through this table, everything is there. We'll be able to understand that. Now, here are the features. Time up to 12 weeks since conception, 12 to 20 weeks, 20 to 24 weeks, more than 24 weeks, any time during pregnancy, and termination due to failure of contraceptives. This is the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, the initial law which was passed in the year 1971. Now in 1971, if any female had to get her pregnancy terminated within 12 weeks, up to 12 weeks since conception, with the advice of one doctor, she could terminate. The same was here. With the advice of one doctor, you can terminate. The key is up to 12 weeks. Then 12 to 20 weeks, advice of two doctors was needed. Here, advice of one doctor is only needed. With the advice of one doctor, you can go for termination of the pregnancy in this Amendment Act of 2021. Then 20 to 24 weeks since conception, your pregnancy is here. It was not allowed earlier, and now it was allowed. Two doctors for some categories of pregnant women. Now in 2022 judgment, this some categories is married women. actually, largely if we see. Unmarried single women were not allowed as per the law. But the Supreme Court judgment last year, that is 2022, this actually enabled termination of pregnancy of those unmarried and single women also. That is why it is being called as a landmark judgment. So, the some categories includes now single and unmarried women also, who are allowed to terminate their pregnancy with the advice of 2 doctors 20 to 24 weeks time mein. Then time more than 24 weeks since conception, not allowed. A medical board in case of substantial fetal abnormalities. Now come to the present case which is there in the Supreme Court. 26 weeks into pregnancy means she is over here more than 24 weeks. Now abortion is allowed if the medical board advises. But when the medical board will advise, if there is substantial fetal abnormalities, if there is abnormalities in her fetus, then only this medical board will allow. Else it will not allow. So this medical board is formed in the AIIMS presently, and Supreme Court earlier on 9th of October directed this medical board to do the abortion. Now on 12th of October it said ki bhai put on hold right now. Because medical board, if there would have been substantial fetal abnormalities, it would have allowed abortion. But actually there are no substantial fetal abnormalities in the pregnancy of that lady. But still she does not want to conceive because of her mental health, and that is why she approached Supreme Court. She would not have approached Supreme Court if there would have been substantial fetal abnormalities. So this is the thing which you need to understand. Then any time during the pregnancy, one doctor if immediately necessary to save pregnant woman's life. Here her life is also not at threat. She is just saying that when this child comes on this planet, my mental health is not at such level that I will be able to take care of this child. So this child's life will be miserable over here. And that is why I do not want to spoil a life. That is why she is saying. Termination due to failure of contraceptive method or device. Pregnancy may be terminated up to 20 weeks by a married woman. But here, any woman, irrespective of marital status, can get their pregnancy terminated up to 20 weeks only. So time limit is set. Up to 20 weeks you can get your pregnancy terminated if the pregnancy is proven to be due to failure of contraceptive methods. So this is basically the comparison, and this is what you need to understand with the present law. The last year's judgment, I made you understand that some categories now includes unmarried and I would say single mothers apart from married to were allowed to terminate. Okay. So this is basically the present case. Keep following it, and it is going to be important from social issues and justice point of view. Index of industrial production. For the month of August 2023, it expanded by 10.3%, which simply means that August 2022 and August 2023 are being compared, and the industrial activity in August 2022 vis-a-vis the activity in August 2023 is 10.3% higher, which is obviously a good news. Index of industrial production is an output based index, means which measures the industrial output of 3 broad sectors. First is mining, second is electricity production, and third is manufacturing. All these 3 sectors have been given separate weightage. So let us look into it, the details of index of industrial production. It is at a 14-month high of 10.3% in August 2023. It is an index that indicates the performance of various industrial sectors of the Indian economy. The performance is basically highlighted. Index of industrial productions, IIP. When I talk about index of industrial production, it measures the industrial production for the period under review, which is usually a month. That is why August 2023. There is a lag of 6 weeks. That is why you see August data is being released in October. Otherwise, it would have been released in August only. And here I want to draw a comparison with Purchasing Managers Index PMI, which we covered a few weeks ago. The Purchasing Managers Index is released every month. It is released by Standards and Poor's, if you remember, and many, I would say, entities all across, I would say, the country or all across the globe, like the central banks, the policy makers, they rely on that because it is released every month. There is no lag in release of that data. Apart from it, it measures the inputs, how much raw material is being purchased. That is a Purchasing Managers Index, it is named as. Whereas this measures the output. So these are the difference which should be very clear in your head. It is currently calculated using 2011-12 as the base year. National Statistical Organization NSO, which is under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, releases the IIP data. So key facts about IIP can be asked in prelims. You should be knowing them. IIP index components. Broad sectors, if I talk about, mining given this weightage of 14.4%, manufacturing 77.66%, the highest amount of weightage, and electricity generation is 8%. So what has been the economic activity or the output activity in these three broad sectors actually determine IIP. Then there is another classification over here, that is use based sectors. Basic goods like grocery products and all, these are basic goods, or home care products. Obviously manufacturing mein hi aayenge, these will come in manufacturing. Capital goods are basically machines which make more, I would say, money or more value. So obviously this will also come under manufacturing. Intermediate goods basically are spare parts and all kind of. Those are not finished products, but yes, they are used in finished products to make them function. So these are basically used based categorization. This is the broad sectors. Most of the places you will read that IIP components are manufacturing, electricity and mining. Index of core industries. This is also a related concept with IIP, because when IIP data gets released, the index of core industries data also gets released. Core, as we understand, is basically the center, the most important industries, and that has also increased by, or the output has also increased by 12.1% in case of core industries for August 2023. Now what is ICI? It is a production volume index which is released on monthly basis, obviously with a lag of 6 weeks. Office of Economic Advisor releases it. IIP is released by NSO. But by the end of this topic, we will establish the connection between core industries and IIP. Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under Ministry of Commerce Industry is mandated with releasing the index. So Office of Economic Advisor is under this, which is under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which releases this data. Base year 2011-12, the same for IIP it is, and the index measures combined and individual performance. Combined means combined of these 8 core sectors, and individual sectors also it is counting. So for August 2023, all the core industries recorded positive growth, means all the 8 recorded positive growth. Obviously collectively it grew by 12.1%, but individually all these 8 sectors, these are the 8 sectors which recorded positive growth. The 8 core sectors: coal 10.3%, crude oil 8.98%. This is basically the weightage, not the growth percentage. This is the weightage of these sectors in this index. Natural gas, petroleum refinery, fertilizers, steel production, cement, electricity generation. This is basically the 8 core sectors. Now if I talk about its connection with the IIP, in IIP we had 3 broad sectors, that is mining, manufacturing and electricity generation, and here we have 8 core industries. So the 8 core industries obviously are there also in IIP. Like for example, if I have to say coal, crude oil, natural gas, petroleum, refinery, so this can come under manufacturing. These three are related with mining because we mine them. Petroleum refinery, fertilizers, steel production, cement production. These are related with manufacturing. And electricity generation. Electricity generation is a separate unit over there. So mining, electricity, manufacturing. All these are counted there also, and in IIP more other things are also counted. It is not only mining of coal, crude oil, natural gas. It also takes into account mining of various other products like, let's suppose, mica or bauxite. All these are also counted. Manufacturing not only of these things but other basic products which I just talked about, grocery items or household items like these. So that is a broader, I would say, index. This is a smaller index because, as the name suggests, core industries. These are at the core. But 8 core industries comprise 40.27% of the weight of items included in IIP. This is the connection. Means these 8 obviously are part of the IIP, but 40% part of IIP. To be exact, 40.27% part of IIP they are. The rest, because that is a broader index, so other industries are also there, or I would say other sectors are also there. So this concept you need to know. You need to know also the connection between these two, that is core industries as well as the index of industrial production. So this is it from today's session. I hope it was useful for you guys. I will be back tomorrow with some more important and informative pieces of news. I will be covering those 2 requested topics, that is P20 and the green drought, tomorrow. Till then, stay tuned and you know what to do. Keep reading, keep writing, keep revising, and most importantly, keep revising. I said earlier, but yes, keep revising again. Jai Hind, Namaste.